starting, let me set the context about what we are talking today about and how is it going to benefit and what are the key takeaways from today's session. So yesterday we talked about vision and mission. We talked about the overall outcome-based education. Today we will be discussing about criteria number 2. Criteria 2 talks about governance, leadership, and financial resources that helps a college to grow. So whosoever is in middle level management or they are working at a higher level management, for them the criteria is all about how can a college function well when governance is right, leadership is right, and financial resources are provided. And secondly, those who are not working at the level of the principal, again, there are a lot of things that needs to be conveyed in your particular institution. So this today's session is going to help you about where the investment of resources need to be done so that our ultimate stakeholders can be the beneficiaries. So I am presenting. Prashant sir? Yes, sir. I can present.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Okay. I just want you to tell me, is it visible? Dikh raha hai, sir?
Not yet, madam. It will take some time. Now it's okay. We are seeing it.
Yeah, done.
Yes,
thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Okay. So if I talk about governance, leadership, and financial resources, as you can see on the screen, it is of 100 marks. So out of 1000 marks for going into MBA, 100 marks, that is 1/10 of marks, is allocated to governance, leadership, and financial resources. Now herein we have governance and leadership. So before we get into what is governance, we need to understand that when we talk about a governing body that is managing the whole college is the topmost layer. Then we have the college development committee. Then we have IQAC, APRC, training and placement departments, and following other things. So when we are talking about governance and leadership, it simply talks about the people who are there in our board, in governing body, the people who are there in college development committee. Now, we cannot fix who all are going to be there. Again, for affiliated colleges, AICT has given a composition by themselves that one industrialist needs to be there, one educationalist needs to be there, a person who has found the trust, one person from that management nominee needs to be there, AICT ka one nominee needs to be there. So it is a well structured 11 people formation document that is shared by AICT so that in governance structure, people from all walks of life can be a part of the governing body. Now, when we talk about governing body is not only about the people who are working in the college. Governing body represents the fresh perspectives that the college people will be getting from the principal of the college, from the director of the college, from the person who is in education field, from the person who is in industry field. So a good amount of people are given there. Other than that, not only having a good governance structure is important, wherein representatives from all the parts, all the stakeholders need to be there. Also, the functions and the objectives of governing body and CDC are defined by the document itself. So they tell that budget approval will be taken up by CDC, then further it will be approved by governing body, depending on the number of admissions that the colleges having every year. Other than this, if we not only talk about these things, there are policy decisions that are made. If I talk about HR policy or faculty development policy or non-teaching staff development policy, all these policies require a good amount of funding. That is why governing body and CDC is based. So yesterday, if we can correlate between the yesterday's topic and today's topic, so we need to understand that vision and mission, they are finalized by people who are sitting at the top. So the people who are from governing body, the members from governing body, the members from CDC, They are the ones who are responsible for creating the vision and mission of the institute. And only creating it and not executing it is again a question mark on half work done. So what they need to do is, again we talked about strategic plan, institutional goals, yearly goals. Who set these goals? Who set these goals for the people working in the organization? The governance structure helps in setting these goals. They tell people what is the destination. Where do we want to see our college 10 years down the line, 15 years down the line, 5 years down the line, next year? Where do we see our people? What our people are working on? So these are the set things that are given by governance. And we need to understand that it won't be wrong to say wherever governance is weak, the sustainability or the survival of that particular organization becomes a question mark. Wherever the governance is strong, the sustainability and the survival becomes a point of ease, and the college grows in multiple progression. Now I have given you a blanket statement wherein I say wherever governance is good. Now, how can we say that governance is good? What are the things that are involved to make this governance good? It is a subjective term. So let us talk about the objectivity that helps us to know how can we say that the governance is useful, the governance is good enough. So the governance is reflected through the service rules of a particular organization. When I talk about the service rules, what it simply means? It simply means the HR policies that have been created by the higher bodies, because HR policy is something that helps to make the environment conducive, or it helps to make the environment extremely bad so that people do not retain in that organization. Now if we talk about the culture wherein 11 months contract is given to a faculty is coming joining for 11 months, and then they are again getting worried that whether they will be welcomed after they won't be getting a pay for 1 month, whether they will be allowed to come next year or not. If they have so many questions in mind, they are not going to treat the college as their own, the organization as their own. And again, if they are not going to treat that place as their own, they are not going to be 100% productive. So when I talk about service rules, we talk about if there is some emergency, there are some vacations, some leaves that are defined by the university correndum. Again, are we following that? Are we giving enough flexibility to our staff members so that they can come, they can work on deadlines in a self-regulated manner? Or we are still watching the watch that a faculty needs to come at 9, leave at 5:30, and if you are going like 5 minutes earlier, again there are problems in the organization itself. So HR policies help the people to work well. Again, HR policies are also meant to create some discipline in the organization. There might be people who do not understand the language of easy service rules, but again, a good mix. There are people who are following it, there are people who are not following it, but we need to make our organization so conducive that employee in the organization can breathe, employee in the organization can be the initiator. They feel that they are being heard, they feel that they are being listened to. If they are learning anything from outside, they should have the authority and the responsibility to include those best practices in the particular organization itself. So when we talk about service rules, it simply means the HR policy. When I talk about HR policy, HR policies help an organization to provide a conducive environment in the organization wherein the people are going to work as if they are going to be here for a longer period of time, and they are going to deliver whatever is required from that in an exponential manner. After service rules, what is required for knowing whether it is a system dependent organization or a people dependent organization? If today I am at a position of authority and I don't feel like signing something, so I do not sign something, it simply means that we are short of the SOPs, the standard operating procedures, and what we are we are working towards only people dependent organization, wherein if people are happy, they are going to approve something. If they are not happy, there will be problems. So the mood swings impact the culture of the organization. So we need to have well defined and implemented policies. When we talk about implemented policies, what it means our SOP document, standard operating procedure document, that if I am from digital media committee and I want my creative to be approved, so I'm creating a creative, I am sending it to my boss. It might be principal, might be director. That person is checking that creative within a span of 24 hours. They are writing approved there. The creative is being posted on LinkedIn and various social media handles. So they know that there is a bracket of 24 hours of approval itself. Other than that, see, we need to understand that approvals are not got on the basis of who took the paper and showed it to which boss. Approvals are work specific. If we have policies in place, every employee in the organization is treated with the same respect. If we have a policy of promotion, then if you complete your PhD, you complete 5 years of teaching experience after PhD, you have 8 research papers in Scopus, and you have your API score this much, you will be converted, you will be promoted as an associate professor. If the policies are in place, the favoritism, the biasness, it takes a different turn. It leaves the organization, and the productivity becomes a part of the organization itself. So a good governance is reflected by the HR policies and the standard operating procedures that the people are going to take. There are like an organization can have 300 SOPs, 400 SOPs, depending on if a light is not working, if a fixture is not working, then whom to go to. So everybody knows that if the light is not working, I'm going to go to our office and administration department. In that department, there is a person, I'm going to lodge a complaint. They are going to come, they are going to change that particular bulb, tube, fixture, whatever it is, and the complaint will be resolved within 24 hours, within 10 hours, within 8 hours. So nobody is saying that if one person is complaining, no, nothing is taken care of. If other person who is coming from authority, that person is complaining, the work is being done in 10 minutes. So this is not something that is reflected through a good governance. After the policies, we talk about our strategic plan. When we talk about a strategic plan are institutional goals that are given yearly. So we say that we have all the roles and responsibilities and functions of a particular committee. Now this is our goal, that everything that we do in the particular premises, it needs to be documented in black and white. There should be papers for that. So this can be also one of the part of the strategic plan. Again, we can have our strategic plan, we can divide it into the focus areas. For example, yesterday we talked about academic excellence as focus area 1. So after that, we have faculty empowerment. When we talk about faculty, why are we talking about faculty? We need to understand that faculty is somebody because of whom the college gets its MBA. It is not otherwise. There are not other people who are involved, though our supporting staff, admin staff, non-teaching staff, they are involved in all those things. But the actual turmoil that people go through, those people are termed as the faculty itself. So when I talk about faculty empowerment, it simply means that there needs to be faculty development policies in place. When we talk about faculty development policy, it simply means that if you are going outside as a resource person for some A, B, C project, if you are a member of LIC committee in university, if you are a member of board of studies, you need to get that on duty leave so that your approval of getting into that committee is not tangled by any of the superiors. So a policy needs to be in place that, okay, 12 number of ODs per year. The maximum ODs that a college can afford is 12, because we know that when we are not on the seat, when we are not working, the cost of work undone is pretty high. But again, we need to get some slack wherein development policies are there. If not only the OD policy, the number of leaves that are being provided for completing our research work, if we are writing good research papers, then appreciation letter is given to the faculty member. Now what we need, what is the outcome that we want from 2121 faculty development policy? The outcome is pretty simple, that the faculties are motivated enough so that they can do a good job. If they are getting appreciation, if they are getting a cordial atmosphere in the organization, they are definitely going to give their best. Now, after this, 2122, here we talk about decentralization, delegation of power, and collective decision making. So, what does it simply means? That when people are working in the organization, it is a two-way communication. See what's written here. List the names of faculty who have been delegated power for taking administrative decisions. Now there are two kind of leaders in the organization. One wherein centralized decision making is there, and one wherein decentralized decision making is done. Now both of the things are not useful for any organization. If there is too much centralization, all of the things will be holded by the person who is on the top. If there is too much decentralization, then the organization will lack its discipline. So what we want something in between, wherein in some areas centralization is there, in some areas decentralization is done. Now the college authorities can sit together, they can talk about it, that in which areas what kind of leadership styles are required in order to make that organization run. Now we need to understand, see, when we demonstrate, when we give somebody authority to take decisions, so they feel empowered and they deliver, because authority and responsibility, both of the things go hand in hand. So that is why 10 marks are given here, so that collective decision making, whether the employees have been informed, whether they have been told about what is happening, or there is one single power that is taking all the decisions in the organization. Now 213 talks about effective governance indicators. Now effective governance indicators is known through the grievance redressal mechanism of any organization. Now we are pretty everybody is pretty informed that AICT has its own mandate for grievance redressal cell in every organization. So what they want, that there should be a cell if something is not going right, if it is due to any of the reasons, there should be a authority whom they can come and complain. And not only this, the composition of a well-defined composition has been shared in the APH itself. So what it talks about that every organization should have a Google form or any kind of form, and the link should be available on the website. If somebody is feeling uncomfortable in the organization, again they can make a complaint to the. Now this grievance redressal mechanism form, it goes to the GRC coordinator. So the GRC coordinator sometimes checks and they know that whether this is some gravity situation, or they are complaining because they were scolded last time. So they always say that some of the senior members become a part of grievance redressal mechanism. But again, what it simply means, that there should be no troubling environment in the organization that creates nuisance for the employees, wherein employees are unable to deliver. That is why an effective grievance redressal mechanism needs to be there. And if the organization has, it is also demanded in the NBA document. Talk about transparency. What things we take in mind is Transparency means that information regarding the policies, the rules of the organization, that people to follow, the general rules of discipline for our students, the general rule of discipline for the teaching, non-teaching staff, they should be a document should be given to all the staff members, so that, and it should be signed by all the staff members, so that at the end of the day they do not say that I was not informed about this particular thing that I have committed. So everything should be fair, information should be disseminated, and it is also required that this information is also found on the website of our institute, so that whenever anybody who wants to be a part of our organization as a staff member or as a student, they know what is our code of conduct, and they know us before they get into the institute with us. After this, leader and faculty selection process. When we talk about leader and faculty selection process, an unbiased selection process is required with effective implementation from the governing body, CDC, and the people who are sitting on the higher ups. Now, why is it required? Because we need to understand that people need to engage in the organization, or they need to be hired in the organization on the merit basis, not on the basis of any nepotism. Again, it is a favorite word that has been trending for many years. But again, what they want is that a ad should go now every year, as we if we fill our EOA, and if we have a little knowledge about AICT, so then we all know that an ad has to be, it is mandatory to give an ad every year. People see that ad in the newspaper, they come, they apply. How the selection is process is being held, this should be very strong, because organization is not made of brick and mortar. Organization is made of the people who are working in that organization. The selection process for them should be extremely fair, transparent, and its impact is shown throughout how they are working and how they are giving their best. Other than this, what does it talk about? It also talks about stability of academic leaders. When we talk about stability of academic leaders, we also know that if our kid is studying in class 2, 3, 4, and if we see that the teacher who is teaching our kid is changing after every 2 months, the kid becomes weak in studies because the faculty is changing. As the faculty starts seeing as the faculty starts understanding the student, at that point of time, the faculty leaves the organization. And who is not getting benefited out of it? The students are not getting benefited out of it. So what we want retention of people in our organization. If the people are working with us for a longer period of time, they tend to deliver more, they feel more loyal to the organization. But again, why are they going to stick to our organization? If our transparency policies are there, if faculty development policies are there, if we have transparent mechanism, if we have good grievance redressal mechanism, so everything is completing a circle in itself, that we want people, we want good people. But when we talk about we want good people, it is about we want to hire talent. But is hiring talent enough? No, we want to hire talent and we want to retain talent. Now, for hiring talent, we need to have one policy. For retaining the talent, we need to have a set of different policies. Why are they going to stick to our organization? Because of good HR policies that are going to make them self-regulated and give the best out of them. 2.2 talks about financial resources. So budgeting should be done every year. After admissions are done, what is required from the governing body, what is expected from CDC, that a budget is allocated to a particular department, and after the budget is allocated, that budget is allocated for different committees. Then the committees start performing as per the budget allocated, and they also need the budget allocation and the budget utilization of last 3 years. So if we do not have this mechanism in place, wherein we are not allocating any budget, we are taking care of the things as and when required, again we get short of 15 marks out of 100, because the budget allocation was not done properly. Now, not only budget allocation is required, the utilization of budget is also required, so that the utilization of budget tells a story whether what we have planned in the organization, whatever we have planned in that organization, is that budget being utilized to a optimal level or not. So I'm just going to revise about what all we talked about. We talked about governance. We talked about, in governance we have our higher bodies like governing body, CDC, APRC, IQAC, and other important bodies. When we talk about these bodies, their roles and functions, their objectives, their membership, their quorum, how many times they are going to meet in the organization, what are they supposed to do, these things have to be fixed. After these things are fixed, a good HR policy, the good set of service rules, so that people can stay in the organization should be made, so that conducive environment can be provided. After this, delegation of power to the people who are sitting on an authoritative post is extremely important, so that they do not have to wait for approvals. Only one time they get approvals, when the governing body is sitting twice a year, they get the approval from there and they keep on continuing their work without any hitches or glitches. So this all is the governance structure that is required. And if somebody is not following the governance structure and there are any changes that are required, so grievance mechanism also plays a very important role, wherein people go to the grievance committee if they do not feel that they are heard, or if they are not being given the equal amount of importance. So this was all about governance, leadership, and financial resources. And I would like to invite questions now.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
It's time for interaction with the speaker, keynote speaker. Dear participants, I would like to request you all, if you have any query or would like to discuss, please come ahead, dear participants.
I hope what we talked about today, the governance, the policies, it all made sense. We all are working in an environment wherein specific things are required, wherein we feel that if this process could have been done 5 days earlier, the students could have been benefited from that. So these are the normal scenarios that everybody face in the college itself. Okay, Dr. Shukla. Hanji sir.
Yes, sir. Shukla sir, please.
Hello, good evening, ma'am. Wonderful presentation once again. And I think this is the criteria 2 what we are going with.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is criteria 2.
Yeah, governance.
Yeah.
And I think the management responsibility also comes over here in the governance, because majority of the policy decisions we have to take.
Agreed.
And whatever policies we are making, yeah, definitely the management is playing a role. And I think you have said about the giving a placement is also there in the same thing.
Yes, sir.
And appraisals are also covered in this. Don't you think appraisals will also come in this governance?
Like, sir, faculty development policy and retaining the faculty is all about appraisals. And we even talked about the promotion policy. So until and unless I know that you have planned a career for me in your organization, why will I stay in your organization?
Yeah.
It's by 2 ways.
Yeah, if you are going for research or something, the research policy they are making.
Yeah.
So research policy when we are making, I think the management is also playing a role, but I think the people who are really involved in that process,
Agreed.
They should be included in the committee or something like that. So what is the need and what we can do, that we can think, because there is always a gap between what management thinks and what is required. So that gap is always...
That is the reason, whatever AICT has done, now the composition of governing body, or if CDC, we will see that we have a space for faculty representative, we have a space for non-teaching staff representative, we have a space for lab committee representative. Now, why all this is required there, and it is 100% required thing, why? So that people from all areas can be a part of that meeting, and they can say what is beneficial for the organization. But how many of you are, how many of we are capable of listing or articulating our thoughts in the real meeting, and we talk about that these things need to change so that we can retain the people? Again, it comes to zero and to us.
Yeah, sometimes there is a communication gap, what we are saying and what they are understanding, there is always a communication gap. So that is one of the very important part, what I feel. And governance, I think it is there in the NAC also. Governance is there with other, everywhere. The governance part is very important. And I think when we are doing the ISO, I remember the standard operational procedures we had to go with, quality policies. And we are going with that. So that governance also, that comes over here. So definitely the ISO plays a vital role in this, because my institute is having ISO. I'm a management representative. And definitely, it plays a wonderful role, because the system should be there rather than people based, what you said correctly, that it should be system oriented. So, unbiased approaches will come with the system, and we are not here fault finders. We are here to find out whether the systems are working in a proper way or no.
Agreed.
So that is what I feel. What you feel about this, please comment. Thank you very much. Wonderful presentation once again.
Thank you so much, sir.
And really, the 7-day session will give us a lot many things. So that is I think one of the assurance from these 2 lectures we can collect. Thank you, Dr. Betkar sir, Principal sir, and Prashant sir. Thank you, madam.
Thank you so much for interacting, sir. Thank you.
Chetan Kumar Meshram, sir, please. Sir, please unmute. Chetan Kumar, sir. So thank you, Honorable Dr. Swami Shukla, sir, for the nice interaction with the keynote speaker, Dr. Radhika ma'am. Now I request the chief organizer of an international conference to conclude the session, please, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Now I move towards the vote of thanks. Shri Kumarswami Mahavidyalaya Ausa, District Latur in Maharashtra State. As we know, all dear participants, we are organizing an international conference. From yesterday, we are going through the 1-week series. The topic was same, and today also Dr. Radhika Wadhera ma'am have came with the different parts or the concept regarding the topic, that is criteria, second, governance, leaderships and financial resources, service rules, then policy 5s, then fundamental financial resources, and all the other parts among the topic. So nicely, clearly, really very happy, madam, to listen you. Every day you are going to present the same topic by leaving all other works, and you are paying your valuable time in the session. So we are very thankful to you. Really, I express my sincere gratitude towards you. You paid your valuable time. Thank you so much. I also thank the chief organizer of an international conference, Honorable Dr. M.M.Betkar sir. Dr. Shukla sir have discussed with the keynote speaker, and our all their attendees who joins regularly. So thanks one and all again. Now I request to you all, please fill the feedback link which is given in the chat box.
Yeah.
But kind request to you all, again, you be with the prompt time at 7 o'clock tomorrow with the same topic dealing by Honorable Dr. Radhika Wadhera ma'am. So thanks a lot once again to you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Prashant sir. I would just like to say that tomorrow we will be covering an important topic. The topic is about course outcomes. So the whole journey that we will be taking for 40-45 minutes will be about how to create course outcomes. And this is something without which a faculty cannot survive in today's time. For NAC, NBA, for any other accreditation, if you go, again, course outcomes become a very important part. So we are going to cover that tomorrow and we will have a great session again. Thank you so much. Thank you, organizers. Thank you, Bedkar sir. Thank you, Prashant sir. Thank you so much. Thank you. Good evening.